I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap
He don't want
circles
no
around.
smoke. He enjoying that 150 million, 200 million he done
Okay
made.
then, so then leave me alone while I'm on the field.
You was effing with him. He wasn't bothering you.
Really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03. Not all of them.
Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Gang. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confident.
Jim Jones slid into Shannon Sharpe's podcast and lit a match he couldn't put out, boldly claiming, he's not only relevant to the culture but more influential than this. Yeah, he really said that. And the second those words hit the air, the energy shifted. Hard. 50 Cent didn't waste his breath with a name drop. No petty shots. No IG captions. He went surgical with one silent move. Thief posted a federal transcript straight to Instagram. No emojis, no explanations, just cold-blooded. Smoke, and just like that, the internet exploded. Asterisk.
I never got to, did I ever got to see Nas? I never got to sit down and have a conversation with Nas and things like that. I had called you about it and things like that. That was like still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that. Like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody.
Fans went into overdrive, digging through wiretaps, old interviews, Granny Street footage, anything that could connect the dots. And Jim? He hit the gym and turned up the volume, firing back disses like he's prepping for a full-blown rap battle from behind bars. But this mess, it runs way deeper than just Nas. This ain't about clout or rap egos anymore. 50's move felt like a silent shot across the entire industry. A cold reminder of who's really bulletproof out here, and who just dodged an indictment by the skin of their teeth.
I recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy.
Big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era too.
See, Jim might have thought he was just flexing, maybe trying to make a bold cultural statement. But instead, he cracked open Pandora's box. Because every time Jim Jones name drops Nas, the tension shifts, and that's no coincidence. Their beef, it goes all the way back to 2002, when Nas lit the first match during a random Hot 97 meltdown. Out of nowhere, he dragged Cameron, called his whole album trash, and didn't even blink. That one moment, it lit a fire under Dipset, and Jim dove into attack mode like it was his calling. From that point on, it turned into mixtape warfare, lyrical grenades flying from both sides. But Jim, he made it personal, fast, talking reckless about smacking. The kufi offness and doubling down on his bars, "We Fly High" wasn't just a hit. It was a declaration of war.
I admired Nas, but remember Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade.
Yes.
So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
But here's where the story takes a dark turn, because believe it or not, there was a time when Jim Jones actually respected Nas. Not long ago. He was all praise, no subs. No sneak shots, just silence and admiration. But somewhere along the line, that admiration curdled into envy, and fans, they saw it in real time. The shift happened the moment Jim hit Fat Joe and Jadakiss' podcast. Fat Joe wasn't playing neutral. He stirred the pot, poked the bear, and asked the real question. Who's really influential in this game? Jim grinned. Took the bait like he'd been waiting for it. What should have been just another spicy soundbite turned into a wildfire. Jim didn't just speak. He unloaded, and then he doubled down like he had something to prove. He didn't flinch, didn't second guess, just let it fly. He said he's more relevant than Nas, more influential. Let that sink in. Nas, the lyrical juggernaut from Queensbridge, the mind behind Illmatic, the force behind King's Disease, a living legend selling out Madison Square Garden in his 50s like it's light work. But Jim, he wasn't intimidated, not for a second. He said it with his chest and made sure the world heard it loud and clear.
He's 20-some years old. That goes to show the part of the era that he's in, that I came into light and started going crazy, that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them, some of them though.
You know?
That podcast moment didn't just stir the pot. It flipped the whole damn table, set it ablaze, and let the ashes scatter in every direction. And before the smoke could even settle, Jim was back, different platform, same energy. But this time, he came with a flamethrower. He wasn't backing down. He was ready to turn that spark into a full-blown inferno.
No albums platinum out. No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them niggas' entries and shit like that. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and the niggas be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit. I'm talking about the industry. I've been putting on. So let's not get into that where we get into numbers and I gotta show you the statistics of what I've done.
Jim pulled up on Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ochocinco Johnson, allegedly to clear the air. But let's be real, he didn't bring water. He brought gasoline. Instead of dialing it back, Jim poured fuel on an already raging fire and made it crystal clear. He meant every word.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little.
Shannon Sharpe wasn't letting anything slide from the jump. He came straight at Jim, pressing him without hesitation. But it's what Jim said next that had fans hitting pause. Eyes wide, jaws on the floor, asterisk.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
bullshit. But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Mm-hmm. Nas was dope. We appreciate him. He had a little bit.
Just when you thought the wild takes were done, Jim spun the block again. He dropped another hot take, digging up that old Dipset versus Nas tension from the early 2000s. He claimed he was always a Nas fan, said it with a straight face, but then flipped the script. He said he'd surpassed Nas in influence. And then came the spin move. Jim switched gears and gave Nas props for his fashion, called him one of the flyest to ever do it. But no matter how much he tried to smooth it over, no matter how many compliments he tossed out, Jim kept circling back to one message: Nas don't move the streets like I do, asterisk.
Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
ain't no shame in that. There a lot of folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit.
Shannon Sharpe wasn't having it at all. He pushed back hard, and Jim got salty fast, so salty. He started clowning Shannon's fit mid-episode, throwing shade at his clothes like it was a damn roast battle. Meanwhile, Ochocinco sat back, cool as ever, just enjoying the chaos, letting Shannon and Jim go head-to-head like it was a pay-per-view showdown, asterisk.
Bro, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
y'all
but look how you dress. Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. The things that we listen to.
I can be in the church house. You can't emphasize lyrics. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas.
Then Jim crossed the line, straight up accused Shannon of only bringing him onto Farm Views. That's when Shannon snapped. The vibe flipped instantly from calm podcast host to full-blown challenger. No more smiles, no more easing in. It was on. Jim said he was better than Nas and Shannon. He wasn't letting that fly. He didn't just question Jim's bars. He came for his physique, asterisk.
Got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than Nas.
It don't matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody from Dipset gonna take you over Nas. Nobody from the Diplomats but you.
Hold on, Jim. Hold on.
That shirt too tight.
Hold on.
Jim. You want to go back to I really mean it? I really mean it started. We could go back to the history, bro.
But you didn't even say that.
Suddenly, the whole convo swerved from hip-hop to a straight-up fitness challenge. Jim tried to spin the tension into a who's really built like that moment, calling out Shannon for a workout battle like it was war in the weight room. He wasn't trying to out-rap anymore. He wanted to out-dash flex. It wasn't about bars now. It was about dominance, even if it had to be proven in the gym instead of the booth, asterisk.
Still playing at a high level. You better check my record,
you jumping up and
I'm still playing at a high level.
I'm rapping.
I'm rapping at a high level. You better check my stats, bro. I will run circles around Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right now. Right now, I will run Saturn around Nas right now.
While Jim was busy puffing his chest and talking reps to 50 Cent had already made his move, quiet, slick, lethal. That individual one label still sitting heavy in the background like a silent threat. And while all that played out, the internet went ballistic, comment sections turned into straight up war zones, fans choosing sides, receipts flying, and no one holding back. Asterisk.
Hey, this is the biggest podcast you ever been on. Do you know a podcast you been on better than this one?
Hold on. We off topic. Hold on.
This is what I do. You see
name a podcast you been on bigger than this. When you get big, you get invited to Club Shay Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to Club Shay Shay.
Fans couldn't believe what they were watching. A retired NFL Hall of Famer out here defending this harder than actual rappers in the game. One fan wrote, Shannon did what Fat Joe and Jadakiss should have done. Another didn't hold back. Jones, you delusional. Shannon, thank you for calling it out, and honestly, they had a point. Because now the question was loud. Why were Joe and Jada so quiet during the first podcast? Asterisk. While Jim kept barking and Shannon kept clapping back, 50 Cent lurked in the shadows. Watching the whole circus unfold and trust, he wasn't amused. But just when it looked like things might settle down, the petty hit full throttle. Fans dug up that old clip and boom, total disrespect. Back in the day, Jim didn't just get ignored by Nez. He got laughed off a stage, straight humiliation. And now, in 2025, that footage is back in rotation, recycled like fresh ammo. Same energy, louder, messier, uglier. But it still wasn't over because Wellness stayed silent, and Shannon flexed in the gym. Someone else was quietly keeping score, 50 Cent. And the moment he heard Jim say he was better than Nez, he didn't argue, didn't debate, didn't even blink. He just laughed. No words, just receipts from the bottomless vault of petty. Thief pulled one of the most loaded rumors in hip-hop history and reignited the whole fire. With one single post, he dropped the bomb. Call Jim Jones, Individual One, and that caption had the internet howling. Because if you know, Individual One ain't just a slick nickname. It's a federal tag tied to one of the most infamous wiretaps from the Tekashi 6ix9ine saga back in 2018. Asterisk. During the 6ix9ine trial, prosecutors played a wiretapped phone call, one allegedly linked to Jim Jones. He wasn't officially named in court. He was only referred to as Individual One on that tape. A voice was allegedly giving orders to violate Tekashi, retaliation for snitching on the set. Now let's be clear, Jim's voice was never confirmed in court, he was never charged. But in the streets, on the blogs, and especially in 50 Cent's mind, that clip became legendary. And now, with Jim running wild on podcasts, poking at Nez, trying to bait him into a battle, 50 saw his moment. He dipped into the IG archives, pulled out a meme he once deleted and posted it in silence. No caption needed, just shade. Ruthless, surgical, cold. And that's when the whispers started again. Say it ain't so, Jimmy. Flashback to 2019. The Shade Room posted a courtroom update from Tekashi's explosive trial. A verified court reporter claimed Tekashi, under oath, named Jim Jones as a 9 Trey Bloods member. And you already know, 50 Cent couldn't help himself. He jumped in the comments. Then came the now infamous video clip, 50, mocking fear. All sarcasm. I'm afraid for my life. I mean, Jimmy is gang. The internet died laughing. But Jim, he wasn't laughing. You could see it, the tension in his shoulders, the tight smile, the clipped responses. That post hit a nerve, and here's where it gets even wilder because all this drama, it didn't even start with Nez, 50's real smoke with Jim. That's been simmering for years. The Nez comment was just the excuse. The perfect spark to drag Jimmy back through the mud. This beef, it runs deep. Back in 2007, 50 made a bold chess move. Brought Jim Jones and Juelz Santana out on stage during a G&E concert, right when Dipset was crumbling behind the scenes. That moment didn't sit right with Cameron. To him, it looked like straight-up sabotage, a public jab at a time when the crew was hanging by a thread.
I'm hiding out in Texas. Please, whatever you do, don't tell them I'm in San Antonio. Don't tell them I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Don't tell them, please don't tell them, man, because it's just so much pressure on me right now. I don't know what to do.
Fast forward to 2019. And boom. Jim Jones gets slapped with that infamous label, Individual 1. The feds played the wiretap in open court, and even though Jim was never officially charged, that label stuck like a digital scarlet letter. And the internet? It ran wild with snitching rumors that still haven't died down. Jim saw every one of 50's shady posts, all of them. And for a moment, he went ghost. No rants, no responses. Just one quiet post, a throwback from the Bird Gang era dripping in Dipset nostalgia. The caption, "Why you keep lying lol? I'm going back to sleep. Free Mel Matrix till it's reversed." That Free Mel Matrix line, that was deep. A public salute to his longtime friend, serving over 11 years on racketeering charges. But it wasn't just love, it was a subtle jab, a quiet way of telling 50 you're out here fabricating drama, while the real ones are locked away. But Jimmy, he wasn't done yet. He came back swinging, another post. This time flexing hard in the gym, shirt off, energy on 10, and the caption? "Here's smoke. Somebody tell Shannon Sharpe, don't start ducking now. You gonna talk like a podcaster or walk like a champ? My sneakers tied. You challenged me in front of the world, might as well finish the job, and just for spice." He threw a jab at Oko too. He don't want to do it in public, cool. Let's take it private.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening, bro.
Jim wasn't backing down, not even a little. He made it real clear. I know his rep as an athlete's on the line. But where I'm from, we don't duck no challenges. Size don't matter, run it. While 50 Cent kept trolling from the sidelines, Jim was out here suiting up like it was wartime. And just when people thought the smoke might finally settle, Jim lit the match all over again. Another spicy post dropped. "If you 40 and up arguing with me about Nis, you already lost." Boom. Generational jab. Landed clean. Then he doubled down, calling out the OGs for falling for the bait. He said every time Mel Matrix went viral, his own streams jumped. According to Jim, this wasn't drama. It was marketing 101, a masterclass in how to move chess pieces in a new era. He painted older artists as stuck in the past, while he's out here adapting to the new rules of engagement. Y'all mad at how the game runs. Today, tighten up. And then came the knockout caption that had timelines buzzing. I said what I said. P.S. I'll wrap circles around any artist from my era. Whoever dares to step in the booth, bring it back with you. Cause this game ain't free, we outside. In the field, take that how you want, just no moves are being made daily. But the wildest part? Through all the noise, all the flexing, all the digital warfare, Nis stayed silent. No tweets, no shade, no subliminal s. Just calm. Controlled, UNBOTHERED. Meanwhile, Jim still baiting, still throwing shots. Still claiming he's more influential than the god MC himself, and fans? They're calling him out hard because everyone knows if Nis responds, it won't be a diss track. It'll be a lyrical execution. Simple, precise, fatal right now. Jim's shouting into the void, while Nis is letting silence speak louder than bars. And 50 Cent is still in the background, quiet, calculated, watching. Because when Fief goes silent, that's usually the moment right before the bomb drops. And if that unreleased wiretap really exists, Jim might have just talked himself into something way deeper than rap. He's out here flexing for likes and gym clout. Meanwhile, 50's gone eerily quiet. So now the real question is, will Nis step in and shut this down with bars, or will 50 Cent let the streets tell the truth after it's already too late for Jim to run? If you're feeling the heat, like, comment, and subscribe. Share this madness with someone who still thinks Jim's just trolling, cause this ain't over. More chaos on the way. See you in the next one.